of your spouse. It's one of the things I think it does for Karen and I. That way she can tell me how she feels rather than me trying to tell her how she feels. It never works. Next section, what in the heck is conflict anyway? To me, if you'd asked me before this, I would have said conflict is when someone else says something stupid and I try to correct them. That's really not what conflict is. In a marriage, that's actually a bad definition. Conflict comes in two types. It's one is perpetual conflict. These are things that they go on forever. It could be like religious differences or something of that nature that you're never really going to agree on, but you've got to learn to live with that. And this can be rooted in a lot of things. It starts back before you were married. It can be personality differences. You're very
animated.
All right, and she's very sensitive. I'm not sensitive. She can be serious. I can have a hard time with that. Life experiences. Previous relationships. My spouse and I didn't talk to each other, so we didn't argue, and you're swept under the rug. Or what happened to you guys? Just
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they can also be financial. They can be religious. One person's a morning person. One of them's a night owl. There's all things like that are perpetual conflicts that you've got to learn to deal with. You don't usually fix these. You kind of learn to live with them, but in a way that you're respecting your spouse with healthy dialogue. You don't need to win. It's solving a problem. And then there's the other type of conflict.
So the other type is called a solvable conflict, and that's the kind of happens once kind of thing. You might have a conflict between a soccer practice for your kid and a football practice, and you just got to figure it out, or maybe one has a game and one has a practice and you kind of both want to go to the game. They're just like one-time events that happen and then they're done. They really don't make up the vast majority of your conflict. It's that perpetual conflict that just keeps coming up and surfacing in your relationship. It's just that thread that just never goes away and just keeps showing up. And that's usually about 70%, research shows, give or take. It's about 70% of the conflict that you go through as a couple.
And solvable conflict is when she invites you to book club on the 7th game of the World Series. Doesn't come up often.
Good thing I like sports.
Now with this, we've already looked at ourselves now, and we've looked at our partner, or let our partner show us themselves, is the way I should say that. And now we're going to go back into another table exercise that's looking at us as a couple. It's going to be a little harder for me to explain this. Karen's going to help me. But in section 510, if you'll turn the page to that, questions 1A and B, and we're going to mix that, put your finger on that, with section 6.2, question 3.
It's on your form.
Yeah, it's on your form if you can't remember, but if you want to open in your book, that's it.
It's spelled out as table exercise 3. Those two sections are combined in table exercise 3 on your paper.
Now together as couples only, now that we've learned all this, we want to go in your marriage, identify which of your conflicts are perpetual or ongoing, and which are immediately solvable. For perpetual conflicts, what patterns do you observe? And remember, we got these from above, our parents a lot of times.
It's personality disorder, personality, lifestyle differences. It might be personality disorders, it really might. But remember, those are the things that come from personality or your different lifestyles or your different life experiences. Randy's first marriage and my first marriage are completely different experiences, and we bring that to these perpetual conflicts. Our personalities are different. We bring that.
How are you harsh to one another? And what usually happens when you try to deal with conflict? So let's get about 10 minutes as couples only, and let's see where we can move forward with this.